Alright, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, where we will finally wrap up the Steel Samurai case in this video. Now with D. Vasquez's new revised testimony about what happened after she found the body of Jack Hammer. Now the only reason she's testifying is because Edgeworth kind of helped us out a little bit here. And he kind of knows that she did it, or she's involved in it, and is kind of throwing the defense a bone. I actually looked into this to see if there was any kind of precedent for the prosecution helping the defense or vice versa, and I couldn't really find anything. You know, I assume it's happened, but I did find one case of a guy, a prosecutor, who was convinced that the two guys he was prosecuting were innocent, so he did everything in his power to throw the case, which is kind of interesting. But that's not quite what Edgeworth is doing here. He was just, like I said, he was throwing us a bone. He's pretty certain that she did something strange here, and is just giving us an opportunity to press her harder. Yeah, but the murder happened, like, after.
Objection!
That's not quite right. Why didn't she have the script during the rehearsal? It's a little bit of a hole. This is, you know, usually what happens. You start making all these lies, you're gonna start having all these just strange contradictions that might be small, but they'll eventually add up to just nonsense. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know what the precedent here is. Would this be allowed? Would he be... I feel like that kind of stuff would be stricken from the record, maybe. Like, the prosecution just be like, yeah, they probably did it. You'd like to think that this kind of thing would happen often. And it's funny, you know, I feel like the prosecution is, depending on which side you're on, either the defense or the prosecution's like the bad guys. Which is why, again, in this game and in this series, the majority of the people, and by majority I mean like every single person that you're defending, didn't do it. Like, that's a for sure thing. Otherwise, you'd be defending murderers, and that wouldn't be good. Yeah, how'd you know that Hammer was injured? It wasn't even him. This is another, like, small little slip-up that is actually pretty big when you think about it. She thought that Hammer was the one that was injured because he was limping, because he was trying to impersonate Powers, who was limping. So she saw Hammer and just assume it was him. No, that doesn't really work, because Salmonella's the director, and he would have been at the rehearsal, and he would have seen what happened. So he knew it was Powers. Which means that you have at least seen Hammer while he was dressed as the Steel Samurai, which is very suspicious. I still don't think that picture looks like someone dragging their leg. So we're starting to paint a pretty big picture of this event We still just don't really know the why. There's still no motive here. But that's fine. Let's sweep that under the rug. We don't need to talk about that. That's what I say every morning. I will have order. It just doesn't happen. Oh, D, you bitch. I don't want to talk about motive now. That's the one thing that doesn't make sense in this case. Yeah, I can prove it. Yeah. The only thing close to a motive that we have is the event from 5 years ago. So let's just kind of wing it and hope that this works. You know, Phoenix, he's always throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. But this doesn't really make sense, because Vasquez isn't the one that did it. So what's her motive? Jack Hammer was angry at her for blackmailing him. Vasquez was the one in power here, so Hammer would be the one with a motive. I love how we're just like double teaming her now. Like she is, both sides, prosecution and defense, are just like leaning on her. Yeah, we're describing Mr. Hammer's motive. So here's the thing, Mr. Judge. Yeah, she actually doesn't have a motive. I talk about how usually you pick the least absurd, or sometimes you pick the most absurd option in a case like this. The first time I picked show evidence, and I was like desperately trying to figure out like what the hell is the evidence here? There is no evidence. She has no motive. So Jack Hammer was the one that poisoned him. Jack Hammer's the one that stole the costume. He's the one that pretended to be Powers. Hammer was the one that confronted Vasquez because he wanted to kill D. Vasquez. This case just gets stranger and stranger. It's funny because that was the kind of finishing shot there. That was the last blow that she took, where she has no motive, and that was enough to do it. It's kind of funny that this whole case is like just a tornado of emotions. You're just going through so many different things at once, and at the end, you kind of feel sorry for Vasquez, in my opinion, anyway. Well, not, I mean, she blackmailed a man and you know, covered up a murder. 2 murders. She covered up 2 murders, let's say. So Dee Vasquez didn't do it on purpose. It was kind of an accident. But she did try and cover it up, which is probably the bigger crime and will probably... I don't know. It's implied in the series that after you convict these guys, they all get the death penalty. So every single person that we've locked up gets the death penalty. I don't know what the deal with her would be. She might just be in jail. I don't know. And I don't know about Salmonella either. I don't know what they do with him since he was a co-conspirator. Spider-Man co-conspirator Stan Lee here. So that's it, we finally did it. So we literally went from our client has no alibi because he was sleeping to a woman in a different studio accidentally killed Jack Hammer and then covered it up. So Phoenix Wright is one hell of a defense attorney. Well, we have some evidence here. It's this picture of you as the Steel Samurai because, you know what? You were the Steel Samurai. Everyone loved you. I also love that instead of Cornered playing during that last part, they play the Steel Samurai theme. Like, that's so great. And it fits in the courtroom, too. Well, that is if they don't cancel the show. Well, actually, now the studio doesn't have a head. So they're probably definitely going to cancel the show. He looks so weird from this angle. This is why you should never see these characters from, like, dead on, from the front. Well then, you know what? Say it better than that, Phoenix, if you really meant it. Oh, that's too bad, Edgeworth. The best part is, no, Phoenix, he's not a liar. He means that. I don't remember which game it is, but they reveal that, that Edgeworth is a big Steel Samurai fan. He's like a huge fanboy. I think it's Edgeworth Investigations, but it might be they start leaving clues in, like, other games in the series, but Edgeworth being a fan of the Steel Samurai is one of my favorite things about Edgeworth. Okay, fine, Edgeworth. Say some hypothetical, like, you get framed for murder kind of thing. I won't defend you or anything like that. That would just be wacky. I'd say we're friendly rivals. So that's the Steel Samurai case. You know, it's, as I've said before, it's my personal favorite case in the game. But the next case is the best case. I don't think that is even debatable. This one will always be a personal favorite of mine. I love the Steel Samurai. I love the Steel Samurai theme. It's got a bunch of great characters, and the ending is great. I love that Edgeworth helps you out. But I don't think it's even a question that the next case is the best. And I love that Salmonella took his idea that he got from Maya and turned it into a show, even though I'm pretty sure we could sue for royalties if that's based on Maya. And Phoenix is one hell of an attorney, so he'll make it happen.